Say what do you call it? And it was service on something. I was probably. Well, my reason, my biggest feel, whatever it is that mine is, right? Okay, I have to introduce myself and be like, I'm Walt. So I don't have to say it like that, but it's kind of dumb, right? But let's look at it from a correlation and say, are you within reason of like the United States and how you're represented in the United States? And your predispositions and stuff, and what is it more about it? There's nothing more to it, you just be reasonable, you know what I mean? You'd be like, oh, you know what, I stepped in number one before, and I'm not gonna step in number one again, so so, it's like, it's kind of like you're talking against a guy and like, sometimes you feel like rapping about it, you just feel like just battle rapping in like a food source instead of like, doing something like, like a dance, a battle dance in Afghanistan with Cedric the Entertainer. But to be honest with you, this is a total bull segment on my part, because I'm looking at the organizations, and I'm like, this is kind of like, if you want to compartmentalize it, you would say hate, racism, and discrimination. And you have to score along those scorecards. And you have to say, okay, when you look on those scorecards, you say, okay, tally it up, and where do you stand? I'm like, dude, what I'm saying? I'm almost kind of righteous in that sense. Not I wouldn't tout myself as. But I'm saying, if you keep it as a scorecard in this situation, I'm not scoring anything, literally, whatever that means. So you take someone like Stacey Abrams, for example, right? And say, what is this shit? Was it vague to say that she disagrees with everything, and but wants him to succeed and stuff like that? I mean, is that a fair statement? Is it a fair statement to say it's vague? Is it? Oh no, it's just being unreasonable and stuff like that. And say, she's a representation of a Democratic organization. She didn't win the Georgia, governor's seat or something like that, or congressional seat or something like that, right? Or seat, whatever, right? So is that unreasonable to say that? Is that even that was factual? That is factual. Is there someone else, other people in Congress, someone who was a geek, right? And so, and there's someone here who says, everybody's like, oh, don't say that, I don't say her name, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know what? Is it unreasonable to say that is an understatement or like a misrepresentation to say bullying or so much as for a 3-year-old so it's unreasonable in nature, unreasonable. And you're like, that's talking about Cat in the Hat, Dr. Seuss type talk and stuff. I'm like, no, I mean, it's like saying going to Super Bowl playing Kung Fu and me like, instead of playing Kung Fu, you'd rather just kind of like, be like, hey, let me just YouTube some of these plays on the show, what I'm looking at on the playbook, right? Instead of going out, maybe a bad analogy, but it's unreasonable to say, hey, in the United States, you gotta have you just get a thicker skin when it comes to certain things.
That's essentially.
Is that essentially essentially a thing? First time shame on me, second time shame on you, or vice versa, right? I mean, and that's so much that not being without being reasonable. It's not like going to the food store or going to the church chicken and say, hey, please don't spend on Coke or something. You don't say those things. You don't go up to the cashier and say, hey, hurry up and you look like,
I do think
so is that a big surprise to me? You don't go to
the problem is
and so I was like, and so I was like, oh, you know what? Let's do the ticket around because I don't really know with that. To be a method of saying, okay, poverty class, you look at the demographic of poverty class, and that melting hot California, and I say, well, can you make a diplomatic statement about it? I'm like, man, that's really hard to do, you know what I mean? That's kind of like, you can just kind of take facts and you don't have to be each about it and be like all this other stuff and then explain yourself to the nth degree of like as a defendant. Like, well, when you say American Indian, what does that mean? Native. Alright, slow down. I talked to psychiatrists. I've had them plenty of times. Years and years. Yeah. Stuff like that. So, what do you think about a psychiatrist? Like, what about it? It's fine. And so, you know, it's like, I was like, oh, is it an unreasonable statement to say a person of color and stuff like that? No.
I don't like it. Some of this is unforced.
And
walked into this, releasing the DNA.
And you know, this segment right here is just this 5-minute segment I'm talking right here. It's kind of like more just kind of like a pacifier to myself to say, oh, well, there's another day to have commentary on the news and stuff like that. So.
Dave, SC, Chris, what a panel. Thank you very much for being